How are you? Welcome back to yet another beautiful episode of my Small World podcast. I am so excited to be doing this. How are you? How are you doing? If you're new here, hi, welcome. If you are a returning listener or viewer, I love you so much. And before I even proceed, thank you so much for all the love that you guys showed me on the previous episode. It had been a while before I posted an episode, and you guys definitely reassured me. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all those who commented, those who chat with me in my DMs, those who liked, those who shared, those who everything, subscribed. We've been growing on YouTube. I am very grateful for that. Anyway, now let's get into it. How are you doing? As you can see, today we are very cozy. I'm at home. I should be leaving in a little bit, but I'm just chilling today, nothing too crazy. So I have my shorts, I'm in my cozy spot. Please ignore the creaking of my chair. I have just noticed it today and I'm just like, this is very convenient on the day that I want to record, but the show must go on, okay? So please ignore the creaking. I will try to get rid of the sound, but we'll see how that goes. How are you doing? How have you been? You can see, like I was saying, I am cozy today, so you should as well get comfortable as we have this conversation. Anyway, how have you been? How has your month been? How's your week been? I'm recording this on a Monday afternoon. The sun is still out. That's new. That's very new. But yeah, how has your weekend been? How is June treating you so far? I hope things have been good for you. Happy Pride Month. Happy Men's Mental Health Month, if I'm not wrong. Yes, June is Men's Mental Health. I hope you've all been taking care of yourself, prioritizing your needs and your mental and emotional needs, prioritizing yourself in general. I hope you have been doing that. If not, this is your reminder to get back on your Zoom, okay? How are you guys doing? Yeah, let me know how you're doing. Like I always say, my DMs and my ears are always open, and I love hearing from you guys. So do let me know how you're doing. So I'm super excited for this episode. I'm always excited to see you guys. I hope you guys feel the same about me. Okay, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see, I am already armed with my notebook and my pen and my notes. So today we're going to be talking about doing things even when you feel like you're bad at it, or you've done it before and it didn't work out, or just stuff around that idea of failing or dealing with just rejections and the emotions that they evoke within us, right? So I have a tendency to only focus on the things that I know I'm good at. The things that it's not even that I know I'm good at. It's the things that when I do, I get maybe compliments or some kind of approval from the people around me, some form of external approval. So naturally, even whether I enjoy it or not, I have a tendency of leaning more towards that, because I'm like, okay, I'm good at this. It's easy. I'm getting approved. I'm getting reassurance that this is good. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure I'm not the only one who would literally run at the idea of pursuing and doing something that we've tried before and didn't work out. That one especially. Or just something that we know we're not good at. Something new as well can be very scary. I know I'm not the only one. So yeah, that is why I felt it was very important to talk about this, because I realize, and it's also very true, when we experience this situations. For example, you go to, let me use skating, like roller skating. You do roller skating for the first time, you're gonna fall, obviously you're gonna fall. Or you do bowling for the first time, you're gonna miss several shots, if not all of them. And you know, like those things, I'm the type of person that just not being good at them can make me never want to go back. I'm usually not the type of person to be like, okay, I didn't get it the first time, let's try it again. For the longest time, I have not been that type of person. Like, I would instantly like shame myself and be like, we're never doing that again. And so I didn't realize how much this was holding me back. So not recently, I mean, yes, let's just say recently, in the past few months, I have had this feeling where I'm just like, I want to change a lot about how my current life is. That's in terms of like academics, career, like just a regular routine, self-care, just everything. I'm just like, you know what, I've been doing the same old shit for so long, and it's starting to feel like it's not working for me. And so I'm in this space where I'm just like, I remember actually even saying it, I'm just like, I'm in such an uncomfortable point in my life, not because anything bad is happening, but I'm in a place where I'm just like, okay, this has been working, but I don't think it's pushing me to where I want to be. So I'm like, okay, we need to rearrange, reorganize, we need to do new things. So being in that mentality or being in that space has like led me to promise myself, actually, to promise and challenge myself to put myself in very uncomfortable situations. I'll give an example. For example, I'm super introverted. I'm extremely introverted. I love my company and staying home. And besides being introverted, I have terrible social anxiety. So anything to do with socializing is just, it's not for me. But recently, I've been like, we're not meeting new people, we're not making friends, you know, I'm stuck in like the same loop because I'm not changing my environment. My environment is just the same loop. Bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, right? So it's the same boring loop. And I'm just like, okay, we want a community, want to make, like, form our own community, one place. Like, I want to leave. I'm still in my 20s. What am I doing locking myself up in the house the whole day? So right, I'm like, yeah, I would love to make new friends. So the one thing I've been trying to do is search for like events or like, you know, things like that. The most recent one I went to was a poetry event. I enjoy poetry, I write sometimes, and so I went to this event and I met some really cool people who write as well and who had actually also gone there on their own, and it was a really nice experience. So those are kind of like the very uncomfortable places I've been putting myself in. Putting myself in these positions, I've actually seen that there's massive growth that I have achieved from just pushing myself a little extra. Sometimes that push is needed. Like, don't get me wrong, me on a day that I'm just like, I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to talk to people, I will honor that. Most of the times I will honor that. And whether that is good or bad, I really don't know, but so far it's working for me because I know also my social battery is not that high. But the pushing myself to every few times, like maybe tell yourself every month I will try to go to a social event or something like that. It has some level of consistency, so you're not being super overwhelmed, but you're still trying and pushing, right? So anyway, I noticed that by doing this, like I've said, I have realized massive growth, and I've been so happy. Actually, I've been so happy with myself. I'm like, oh my god, I'm even getting better at talking to strangers. You know, when the way I grew up, I probably have mentioned this before. The way I grew up, I was actually very, very shielded and very, like, I didn't even used to play outside. Like, my aunt was very strict. I was raised by my aunt. My aunt was very, very strict. Like, so it got to a point where I even stopped trying to go outside or meet people or interact with other people. And for the longest time, I finished high school when I was 18, and I'm 23 now. For the longest time, the only friends I've had were friends from school, which is nice. I'm so glad I have been able to keep friendships for that long, but I was just not growing. Like, I did not know how to socialize. So recently I'm just like, oh my god, I feel like I'm even less anxious, because it's not such a new thing. Like, socializing has become, I've normalized it a little bit, so it's not so scary. Anyway, the whole point of me telling you this is that, like, when I shifted my focus a little bit from, oh, this is uncomfortable, this is so bad, this is scary, blah blah blah, and started focusing on, okay, I'm gaining this, I'm doing this better, I realized such great growth, and I feel better about myself. And so that led me into talking about this, how to, you know, just do it anyway, like doing things that you feel like you're scared of. So when we experience this, oh my god, my chair, I think she has something to say too, because what the fuck? This is so embarrassing. I promise you, like, I had not noticed this, otherwise I would not have sat here for recording. Oh my god. Anyway, I apologize again. Anyway, so when we experience like failures or rejections, that some of the most dominant emotions we'd feel would be disappointment, frustration, feeling like you let yourself down, and the other people who may have been involved in, you know, the activity or whatever, and inadequacy. You start to chip in at your like self-worth. Or rather, I know myself, so let me say I start to chip in at myself and be like, maybe it's 1 2 3, maybe it's the way I say 1 2 3, maybe it's the way I do da 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 da, and your morale, the psyche that you had for that specific activity, even though you're so passionate about it, can start to dwindle. You feel so discouraged, right? And I think for me, one of the few things that can help like explain where these emotions come from is, we're gonna go all the way a few years back to when I was a little kid, right? So growing up in like an education system that really praised and like favored the top performing students. So I how do I say it? I guess I understand the bit of encouraging them to continue with the good work that they're doing and da 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 da, but that also had a very negative effect, because while they did that, I don't think a lot of the teachers, or just a lot of the faculty members didn't know how to encourage those who were not there yet. So I know this is very popular in the Kenyan education system, and actually most education systems in Africa, if I'm not wrong. But like the shaming, I remember the shaming of, sorry, my brain is doing this, the shaming of students who've not like performed or gotten to like the standard that the school recognizes as good, right? So the shame could be in very many ways. I remember for me, when I was in primary school or grade school, some people call it grade school. Well, I was in grade school, so our grade school, we used to go all the way to grade 8. I know the system is different now. I was in the old system, the 8-4-4. So 8 years primary, 4 years high school, 4 years uni. So I remember when we were in grade 7 and grade 8, now you're considered seniors. So every time we did an exam, So midterms or finals, every single time we did exams, I was in a private school, so we were not so many. I remember, like, in my class we were 21 students, 21 people, so it wasn't so bad. Anyway, so I remember we used to be lined up. So you're told to line up according to your previous position, and then first of all, you're ranked. The ranking already was it was a big thing. It was another form of like, it was very discouraging, I can imagine, to the people who didn't rank very high. So yeah, so you're ranked, so you have a position. You know your position, how you performed the previous exam. So we used to be told to line up and how you performed the previous exam. This is during assembly. So for those who don't know, in assembly, just as I would say, the whole school gathers, assembles, right? But so we used to have this every week, and then this is where the teachers on duty would like give their announcements and blah blah blah, and just like a meeting, like a catch up and briefing meeting, right? But for the whole school. So during assembly, you'd be told to line up according to your previous positions, and then our deputy principal or our principal would read the results for the new exam that you've just done. And so the idea of this was so that when you're called, you move from, now you're standing in the position you are in the previous exam. So let's say number 1, 2, 3. Let's say I was number 4 in that previous exam. So if when she's reading the new list after the new exam, if let's say this time I was number 2, so I'd move from number 4 to number 2. So I take a step forward. So this was a physical, like, it was to actually show the people who are improving, and like a physical way of showing up and appreciating the people who were improving, and a physical way of actually showing. And I know they called it encouraging, but it was like shaming the people who had dropped. So if let's say I was number 4, and then the next exam I was number 12, you'd see me walk all the way from number 4 all the way to number 12, right? So systems like that. And I know it was a lot. There's a lot of schools, there's a lot of people who will tell you how they were beaten because of not getting a pass mark. I was beaten, actually. We used to be beaten. I remember there's this exam we did. My English teacher in grade school was our deputy principal, and she used to teach us English. And I remember this exam we did, and I thought everyone did so well. Like, it was one of those exams that had a really good performance in, like, overall everyone did well. Of course, not everyone got the same mark, but just everyone did well. But you know what? The next day she came to class with a cane and started to beat everyone, from the first person at the door all the way to the last person. She would ask you, what did you get? And then hit you for the remainder of the marks. So the exam used to be out of 50. So out of 50, so 50 points. The total exam is 50 points. So if you got anything less than that, you're beaten the number of the difference. So if I will never forget, I got a 47, and I was feeling so good. I'm like, oh my god, only 3 points, and I was beaten for the 3 points. So for our teachers and all the people in that system, the idea of encouraging you was to shame you out of the places, that position that they didn't want you in, that position that they didn't consider good, which is very crazy to me, considering this is a school, this is somewhere you go to learn. Anyway, the education systems, especially the one in Kenya, I'm so glad actually that the system has changed. I don't think in the new system they do the rankings anymore, which is a good start. But I think so much can change. The education system in itself was just trauma on its own. And so actually this is just in grade school. So these are like the formative years. These are our formative years. So you grow up knowing, this is embarrassing. Making a mistake is embarrassing. Making a mistake leads me to get hit and beaten. And I'm just using school as an example. Some people experience this even from home, or it was everywhere. Every part of their life they were beaten and shamed and punished in some kind of way for not meeting the expectations of their parents or their guardians, which is crazy. So anyway, for me, I know that systems like this is what makes me terrified to do things that I'm not good at. The shame and the punishments that come with it. The other thing that I know for me really, really impacted my mentality around failing and rejection or mistakes is only being shown affection or love when you do well, quote unquote. So like I've said, let me just go back to the education system. Like the only time for example, your teacher would like smile at you, like high five you, or even just be kind to you. The teachers were not kind. Wow. I don't know about you guys, but the schools I went to, most of them, let me not say, they were nice teachers, but in general, for the only time that people would even, like these people, when I say people, I mean these people who are in charge of guiding you and are responsible for teaching you and helping you grow, the only time that they would give you attention or show that extra, like just care about you, would be when you've met their standards of good, which is very, very damaging. If you remember in the previous episode, I told you about how I was a golden child. Like for me, that approval meant the world. Like I just wanted to be told I'm a good child, That was because the only times that I would hear these compliments, the only time that these people would look at me like they loved me would be when I've done something that was good as per their standards, right? And that is so damaging. So that really, I think for me, those two experiences majorly affected how I viewed success. Okay, I'll give you an example. I remember when I was in grade school, in my final year of grade school, I was a boarder, so I was doing boarding school. In short, I was sleeping in school. So I remember we used to play. We had a coach, a basketball. He was a soccer coach, but he still taught us how to play basketball. So he used to come and spend the weekends at school, and so he would train us. So anyway, long story short, I was playing basketball. This is something I never even talk about because I was not good at it. I didn't think I was good at it, so I never see the point of mentioning that I used to play basketball. But anyway, so he used to train us how to play basketball. And I remember this one Saturday, I missed all my shots, all the shots. Every time I would throw that ball, it would hit the rim and then drop. It would never go through the basket. So for that whole day, I remember being so frustrated. So we used to play until like 6 p.m. and then we'd have dinner, and then you can go like do your assignments or blah blah blah. And I remember that night, I'm not even kidding, I did not sleep. I kept thinking about those shots. I kept thinking, what am I doing wrong? I could not sleep. And so, don't get me wrong, in some ways, this like self-analysis can be constructive, but it can get extreme and extremely demoralizing when you let it like be too much. So you see, for me, maybe it was just an off day, and I didn't really need to lose sleep over missing shots, right? I could have just woken up the next day and just went and trained, and I did, bro. I spent so much time in that court. I was just like, we're not experiencing that embarrassment anymore. And I guess, like, looking at it that way, this like self-analysis and telling yourself, okay, I could do this better, I could do this different, might be good motivation. But the point I'm driving at right now is that it is not sustainable. You see, just because I missed the shot, I completely disregarded that my passes were okay. Like, I was running okay, like I ignored all these small details of the game because my focus was just on, oh my god, I'm missing the shots. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, you're laser focused on this one thing, so every other achievement that you're gonna make won't even matter. You will not recognize it, you'll not be grateful, you'll not even appreciate yourself for it, because you're focused on this one thing that you're not getting. Okay, yeah, so now we're gonna look at some of the ways that I have rewired and reconstructed my brain around rejections, failure, and just making mistakes and doing new things, and just doing things that I'm uncertain about the outcome, right? And so I'm gonna take us back to this one cartoon that I have mentioned before, that's called Inside Out. I feel confident that we've all watched it by now, but anyway, if you've not, this might be a spoiler, so spoiler alert. But anyway, so specifically Inside Out 2, that's the one that stuck with me the most. So this is when Riley, which the little girl, now starts experiencing this very new and more complex emotions like anxiety, envy, boredom, and ennui. Ennui is boredom, actually. Embarrassment is the other one. Ennui is just my favorite, honestly. Such a vibe. Anyway, it's very interesting for me to see how they bring it out. They actually give these emotions like characters. So when, like, if you think about it, you're not just thinking anxiety as this very, it's like an illusion. You're seeing an anxiety character. You see how she spirals during an anxiety attack, blah blah blah. But anyway, the part that I want to point out most for this video is the part about the belief systems. So when Riley is, I think she's trying out for high schools, right? Trying to find high schools, blah blah blah, and is it high school? I think, yeah, it's high school. She meets these friends and she's trying to become this whole different person because she wants to fit in and to be into this, just fit in and be liked and all this. So here, the dilemma, the crisis of this, I think that's the crisis of the whole movie. But at this point, her belief system starts to change, because now anxiety has been introduced, and anxiety has all these ideas and fears and this whole new way of thinking. So anxiety starts to change Riley's belief systems. So the belief system part is the one that I want to point out. So eventually it's a whole thing, it's a whole mess. She's going through all these emotions and everything. She ends up being a bad friend to her previous friends, blah blah blah. And then eventually the solution, how they resolve, is they go back to her belief system and it's almost like reconstruct and put together, like, how do I say it? they go back to her belief system is the point I'm trying to make. The way they solve all this like panic and spiraling and everything, the way they center and they ground her is by going back to the belief system. So what I did for myself was I took a pen and paper and I said, let me write down, let me think, who am I really? What are my beliefs about myself? You'll come up with a lot of things, whether it's things that people have told you about yourself, whether it's things that you believe about yourself. Just put it all down. So I wrote it all down. Write it all down, and then start to analyze it. Which ones do you really believe? Which ones are you happy about? And then which ones are you not happy about? Which ones are you like, is this really right? I'm just saying this because this is what I've been told. Things like analyze it. That will help you really. It's almost like you reminding yourself who you are and your worth, right? And so for me, why this has been so important in reconstructing my brain around failing, rejections, and like just making mistakes and all those things that we've talked about is because, we attach so much of our identity to these things. I don't know if you've experienced or if you've seen these instances or situations where you meet with someone and then they ask you to introduce yourself, but they tell you excluding where you go to school, what you do for school, what you do for work, what you own. Remove all those things. Like really look inward and introduce yourself as the person you see inward. And then a lot of the time, I've never actually been able to do it until recently, now that I have the belief system thing. But a lot of the times I used to be like, oh, you've just removed everything. What do you want me to tell you? Like, I don't know who I am outside of all these things. So I'm going to use, for example, look at, let's say you're applying to jobs. There's a job that you really, really want, and you've looked at what they need. You're like, I have exactly what you need. I have even more. And you're applying, you're just like, there's no way you're not getting this. You're just like, you're so sure and certain. And you've envisioned yourself, after this job, this is gonna be this, my life is gonna be da 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 da, you've gone through the whole thing. And so unfortunately the outcome comes opposite. You don't get the position. A lot of the times this will eat into your self-worth or your courage or your confidence, because you attached so much of your importance, so much of your worth, so much of your love for yourself to this application, and it fizzled. Like I said, it was not sustainable, right? And so the belief system for me is very, very important, because you ground yourself. It's a way to pull yourself back and be like, okay, this is our ground. I am kind, I love hard, I love big, and I love loud. I'm friendly, I love to laugh, I love to make people happy, those things about yourself. So that, I think for me, this has really helped me not to attack myself whenever things don't go my way. So whether I apply for something, whether I audition for something, whether I do blah 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 for something, even in relationships or friendships, like you're into someone in a way that they're not able to reciprocate, of course that will hurt, and that is a rejection in some way. So when these things happen, I'm not quick to attack myself and be like, it's because you did ABC, it's because okay, I mean, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Like, I think you can look inward and analyze and see the things that you can do better, but I think you can do that without trampling on yourself, like without crashing your esteem. Okay, you have to be your first love and your first supporter. Okay, so number one is the belief system. That has really changed my mind, and the reason why I say put it down, like really put it down, when you think about it, it's just a thought, right? Yes, it has some power, but it's just a thought. Write it down. So even when you read that rejection letter from a job you applied to, you literally can pick up the paper where you wrote your belief system and be like, I am da da da, I am this, I am that, I am them, da 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 da. This outcome does not change who I am. Okay, that's number one. Number two, let's see, yes, number two is acknowledge and embrace your feelings. Remember when I said how these emotions are very powerful and equally painful? A lot of people, these are hard things to feel. These are hard things to feel way for yourself. It's like pitying yourself or like feeling bad for yourself. No one wants to be in that space. But they always say pain demands to be felt. And I think pain is just, in this sense, I'm using pain as just a blanket word for all these negative emotions. I think all emotions demand to be felt. They demand, like, feel them. So the second thing that has really helped me is sit with that feeling. I applied for this job, I auditioned, and I really felt like I had a good shot at it, and then unfortunately that did not turn out the way I expected. I'm able to sit and be like, okay, that sucks. That makes me feel like that, like, acknowledge and honor your feelings. Acknowledge, like, you can even name them. Say, okay, I am feeling angry, I am feeling frustrated because I did 1, 2, 3, or even a test. Oh my god, this one, especially because I'm in school, you put in so much effort in and going, like, revising and going through your schoolwork, and then you do a test and the result you get is just like, oh my god, what the hell, right? And so obviously that one, because there was no other person, you can't say the teacher was picky or blah blah blah. It's very easy to attack yourself and be like, oh my god, maybe I'm just dumb, So, you know, in those moments, like, it's nice to sit with those feelings and be like, okay, this sucks. I'm extremely frustrated because I thought I was really working for this, and I thought I had a good shot at it, So anyway, my point is acknowledge your feelings, honor them, and then gently release them. Let them go, because at the end of the day, emotions are meant to flow through us. Don't let them go with you. Don't let them overwhelm you. And the sooner you acknowledge and honor them, the easier it is. And I know it's not just a snap of the finger type of thing. You learn how to do it, so you practice it with yourself. Remember, I said you have to be your first love and your first supporter. You cannot be the first person to attack yourself when things don't go right. You cannot do that. I have been there, and not cute, would not recommend, okay? And so finally, the other thing that really helps me is affirmations. Like, your words are, I'm gonna get a little crazy here. Words are spells. Like, words are a contract. The things you say, the things you write, like, words have power. So looking at yourself in the mirror, reminding us, reading that belief system, writing and reading it out loud for yourself, that echoes back. That, you know, it bounces back to you, and the universe honors that. You tell yourself, I am worthy, I am deserving, I am, you know, I am trying, and that is enough. The universe will reinforce that. It will show you that you are enough. In fact, you are worthy. In fact, it will show you that, you know what, you're trying and it is paying. But you speak and say, I am dumb, I am this, I am stupid, I did not do it right, oh, I always, that will also echo back in the universe. The universe will reinforce it, and you will in fact feel even more dumb, even more stupid, even more worthless. That was really harsh. Universe, I'm just explaining a concept, please. But yes, my point is, words have power, and that's why affirmations are very important, regardless of whatever it is. For me, my biggest thing that actually has been such a very interesting journey is my content. The content creation thing. It's very scary to put yourself out there, especially being introverted, and it's just I think in general, whether you're extroverted or not, like this is putting yourself out there. I know, and I know my channel is still growing. There's still very little community, and I love each and every one of you, but it is still very scary. And then that's the thing, when you start content creation, you're seeing all these people who are already big, they have thousands and thousands and millions of followers and blah blah blah, and you're following them and you feel discouraged. Because me, with my what how many followers, I'm just like, oh my god, why do I think I stand a chance? That's one thing I've really struggled with, actually. Or you post a video and you post videos and it's just the same, like nothing is growing. You're just you're stuck. Sometimes it even dips a little, the graph dips. You start at, I'm like, oh my god, maybe this is not, and maybe it is not meant for you, but you should not stop because of the outcome. Okay, like detach your worth and your identity from the outcome. Okay, so to end this video, we're gonna do some affirmations together, and so that anytime where you need a morale boost or some confidence pumping, you can come back to this video or just this part of this video and we can say the affirmations together. Okay, so get comfortable. Let me flip my page. Get comfortable. Put your hand on your chest. Let's take a deep breath. Remember, words have power. So say this with intention and mean it, okay? Because you're worth it, okay? Okay. Confidence is built by doing, not by waiting to feel ready. My courage matters more than my perfection. I am not behind. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. I do not need to be perfect to be proud of myself. The version of me who tries, even when scared, is the version I'm proud of. I detach my worth from the outcome of ... Okay, you can take another deep breath, or you can pause and chill for a little bit and just take in all those words, or add more for yourself. But those are the few that I can share with you right now, and I will definitely, even if you hit me up and tell me like I have 1,000 more that I could keep going on and on and on and on and pouring out for you, because that's how much you're worth it. Like I have 1,000 more ways to prove to you that you are worth trying. You know, whatever it is that you're doing, do it anyway. Do it scared. It is okay to be scared and brave at the same time. Okay? And progress is progress. Like that little step, progress is progress. Let me tell you something that I recently was applying for, just a role, a thing related to content creation, and of course they would like to see like if you've done, you know, stuff before for yourself, something similar to what the role needs. And even though I did not get the role, it's really like going back to like my social media, like my Instagram. Are you following me on Insta? Okay. going back to like my Instagram and seeing all this like photos and videos, even on my phone, like even the ones I haven't posted, it really reassured, it really helped me feel so nice about myself. I was like, oh my god, Flo, like look at all the work you've been putting in, look at all the little things that you've been doing, you know. So progress is and it counts. The progress I've made right now was not enough to put me in this role that I was applying for. It was a bummer, yes, but I'm so grateful because it opened my eyes and I was just like, oh my god, it's not like, yes, not like the overnight success, you sleep and then you wake up, you have 1 million followers, but it is something, and it's definitely preparing me for the next role. Okay, so whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you love doing but you've been scared of, whatever it is that you've been putting off, whatever it is that made you feel shitty, I'm sorry first of all, but this is your sign to keep trying and just do it anyway. Okay, remember to always be kind, loving and gentle with yourself, because if you do not, no one will.